Buffer is a tool that is often used with spatial queries. Buffers are useful because they delineate an area within a specified distance of a set of features. So in this example here, we can see that the points here are schools and the circles around those schools are drug-free zones. In this example here, the lines are streams and the buffers around the streams represent areas where logging might be off limit. So for the buffer tool, it shows what we're going to buffer, in this case the dangers, what we're going to call the output because we're actually creating a new layer with this. It's going to be called dangers buff, or we could rename that. And then we want to show the width of the buffer, how far away from that feature we're going to define the new area. And in this case, it's 50 miles from the dangers layer. And we can always reset this. We can use kilometers or feet if we want to, anything that we want in order to create the proper buffers. When we create buffers, what it does is it buffers each individual line feature. So if we don't use the dissolve command, and the dissolve command is selected down in this menu here from the previous slide, if we don't select dissolve, then we would get something that looks like this, where each individual segment is buffered individually. This might be what you want in some cases, but typically what we want to do is we just want to know if something is within any distance, or a distance of any particular feature within that layer. So in this case here, we've dissolved all the buffers, we've got rid of all of the lines of overlap here, and now we'll come up with a more continuous area that shows all of the area within a certain distance of these streams. So in general, we want to dissolve our buffers. It just makes it cleaner and easier to deal with, and also a more pleasing display. Another thing that we sometimes do is we extract one feature from another. So in this example here, we have a bunch of roads that are shown in red and gray, and then we have the city boundary, which is shown as this yellow area here. So we can use a command called clip to cut. It acts like a cookie cutter, so it would basically cut all of these road segments right at the city limit, and then the red would be the parts of those roads that fall within the city limit, and the gray would be the parts of the roads that fall outside the city limit. So we would be using the city limit as a cookie cutter in order to just select out, in order to spatially select the lines that are within the city limit. Those are the ones represented in red here. So that would be the clip command. We take our input layer, we use our clip layer, and we get out a smaller layer that shows all of this information here, but only within that area there. Erase is kind of the opposite. We start with the layer, we clip out something, we take out the cookie, and we just leave the dough around the edge here. So in this case here, if we were using the erase command instead, we would end up with all of the roads in gray, but all of the roads in red would be deleted because they are within the city limit. So clip gives us what's within the cookie cutter, erase leaves us with what is outside the cookie cutter. So as we do these sorts of things, we could actually be changing the length of these road segments. So this road segment before might have run from here to here, but after we do this clip, now we either have this red segment if we did clip, or this gray segment if we did erase. So we would want to use this calculate geometry attribute if we have any fields, such as maybe that's maybe the miles field in this streets feature. It might tell us a length, and we can calculate the geometry in order to recalculate the length after we've done the clip or erase. And then this is going to give us the proper distance for this. And this is important if we have fields that we're calculating the length of ourselves, or if we're using shape files. It's also very important to do this so that we get the proper lengths of these new features after we've used an extraction command like clip or erase. This also relates to how operations are used once we've done a selection. So in this example here, we've selected out the counties that contain volcanoes, and now we might want to perform some summary statistics on just those counties. If we form the summary statistics, it's as a default, it's only going to do that on the counties that we've selected. This is called honoring the selected set. So most, but not all geoprocessing tools honor the selected set. One example that does not is clip, which uses the dataset boundary polygon and does not honor the selected features. So that's just something to be aware of when you use this clip, that there's a special case here where it's not honoring all the ones that are selected, it's honoring the dataset boundary for the polygon.